if you really wanted to geek out in this process to reclaiming our height, to increase our quality of life and longevity and vitality, we can take a baseline. So if you wanted to slide your heels up against a wall and mark your height, you do not have to do this. I can almost guarantee that we're going to both leave taller at the end of this practice. So trust that. So we're going to sit in a comfortable seated position and just arrive, placing your hands on your thighs, checking in with your breathing. Just watching any residue from the week, whether that's the form of mental chatter, sense of vibration, shortening of breath can also be a pattern. There's something called email apnea. And this is sort of relating to the overall theme of modern life, of being very forward dominant, and how that can affect our posture, with the chin dipping forward and the ears coming out of alignment with the shoulders. But in addition to that, we're holding our breath when we're sitting at the computer reading emails. So what is the residue and the accumulation of that over the week? Let's just check in. And as soon as we ask the question, what happens? Well, often we find the breath deepens on its own. And if you find that it needs a little help, just recalibrate the exhalation and the inhalation with the same kind of like pacing, if it is helpful to count in 4s, 5s, or 6s. And then from here, we're going to do a little diagnostic. Just notice where your posture falls in space. This is the landmarks of our upper body posture are often referred to as a plumb line. So we want to form the intersection of these 3 points, the center of the ear stacking over the center of the shoulder, and the shoulder stacking over the center of the hip. Notice if it feels difficult to shift your weight back, or if there's an easefulness to it. We're going to sink the weight into our sitting bones a little bit more. And then from there, just invite the weight of the sitting bones down into the floor. And as they descend, use that as the counterpoint to then create traction to grow up and out through the central spine. The yogis refer to the central channel as the sushumna. And it is the thought philosophically that this is the sushumna, when activated, is where life begins. This is where productive meditation happens. This is a life of moving around, more pain-free happens. This is where we unlock or sort of contain and utilize and draw from our own prana, our own energy source. So step 1 will be to stack the plumb line. And step 2 is to sway the weight back, let the groins descend, and relax the weight of the legs. Now, this can be very challenging, and a meditation cushion can be very helpful in this position. And if you have one, to prop yourself up. If you prop yourself up on a blanket or a cushion and have that added space, then you can allow the groins to fully descend down, and then you'll be able to grow through the spinal cord up through the crown. So from here, we're going to start to get into the neck a little bit. So we're going to take the right chin and, I guess we'll just tilt to the right. We'll start with that. And then extend through the left fingertips. You're going to start to feel an activation through the left side of your neck and down through the arm. And just experiment with extending through each finger individually. And with that awareness, how does that feel? Good. And now from there, we're going to take the chin and drop it to the opposite shoulder. Stay activated through the left fingertips. And we're going to create a little yes, a little nod yes. And then at the same time, we'll start to move and create a pattern forward and back from the shoulder joint as we nod yes. Deep breath in, breath out. And then from there, we're going to start to create some rotation. So you're going to tilt and keep playing with this movement here. Good. And then once we kind of get to the full rotation, so we're just turning the head towards the right shoulder, let's just pause on the shoulder movement and extend through the fingertips and just give it a little yes and a little no. And then slowly float the hand back, bring your head back to neutral, and just let the eyes fall closed, let your gaze drop towards your collarbones, and just note any sort of sensory differences, asymmetry that you might feel in one side versus the other. What are the qualities on the left versus the right? Soften the belly, descend the groins, grow taller. Inhale to open your eyes. Exhale, we'll drop the left ear to the left shoulder. Extend through the right arm. Just giving that a little stretch. And then we'll start to rotate a little bit. And then draw the right chin towards the left shoulder and stay with this exploration, just little yeses, gentle no's. If you feel any trigger points or areas of congestion or tenderness, you can just ease up and slowly explore it. Just keep rotating the head. And then once you find the edge of that rotation, just extending through the right fingertips. Stay with your yeses and your nos. And then coming back to center, pause. Just finding our plumb line. And inhale, we're going to breathe the arms up. Exhale, the right arm is going to cross under the left. We're going to come into eagle arms. On an inhale, let's lift the elbows up. Exhale, draw the shoulder blades down the back. Start to press the palms and forearms together. So our two arms just start to form one unit. Inhale to gently lift. Exhale to invite the shoulder blades down the back and into the back, supporting and lifting up your sternum. And I start to pivot the hands, so press the right palm into the left and let it win. And then we're going to draw the right ear towards the right shoulder. If you want to do a little tiny nod. Keep pressing those palms together. Just inviting this gentle activation. Nothing forceful or too aggressive. And then exhale, let's free open the arms. Let that blood flow flush out the arms. Place your hands on your thighs. Just quiet your attention. Notice any sensations moving through the shoulders, neck, into the arms and fingertips. Inhale to breathe the arms up. Exhale, coming into the other side. So we're threading the left one under the right. Twizzle the arms. Inhale, elbows left. Exhale, shoulder blades down and into the back. Lifting up. Pressing the palms together, forearms hugging gently together. Coming into the other side. So this time the left palm's going to win. And then we're going to draw the left ear to the left shoulder. And we're going to nod. Yes and no. Maybe you lick your lips and rub them together. Release any tension in the jaw. A gentle, soft smile from the inside corners of the mouth. This can help release any tension in the jaw. Slowly coming back to center. Open the arms up. Feel the flush. Exhale, rest your hands down. Finding our plumb line, inviting the center of the ear to stack over the center of the shoulder, the center of our hips. Release the weight of the legs down into the floor. Now from here, think of a flashlight being held in your mouth, shining upwards through the soft palate, the back of the throat, and up, radiating out through the crown of the head. So carry this idea of this light shining out and up. And at the same time, you're inviting the lower extremities to get nice and heavy. And the purpose of them relaxing and grounding into the floor is to give you traction, to lengthen and beam that leg up. And then start to track your awareness down to, I like to call this little divot here at the throat, my pond. It's called the manubrium. Take the base of the manubrium and tilt it up. So it's like you're taking your pond and you're leveling it, and start to imagine that you catch a little raindrop in your pond and you want to hold it there and contain it there so it doesn't roll out and dissipate. So let's hold up our ponds, radiate out through the crown of the head, relax the jaw. Drop the eye gaze downward and soft. And then from there, we'll track the attention onto the ribs. So as we beam and lift the duck pond up, it's a duck pond now, we're going to draw the floating ribs into the body. So there's a gentle core activation, lengthening, lifting. So as we sit here, you start to notice, wow, I need a lot of core to sit here, and I need a lot of back strength to sit here comfortably. And this is true, so this is where we're headed. So from there, we're going to start to scoop the legs from one side and come onto all fours. Coming into forward and back motion so that we can find our center point. So once you move and sway a little bit, maybe you wag your hips from side to side, we want to find our medium point where half the load is held by the upper body and half the load is supported by the lower body. And once you think you found that point, find your plumb line in space, lining up the center of the ear with the center of the shoulder and the center of the hip. So we have this angle all the way down. On an inhale, we're going to invite the tail to tuck under, so sliding the sitting bones down towards your knees. Pull the navel up towards the spine and tuck the chin. Inhale to expand across the rib cage. Exhale, release the tail back, drop the belly, open the throat, bring your gaze to the tip of your nose. And just repeat that a couple more times. Inhaling. Exhaling. Just freeing up, creating some mobility. If it's been fairly recent since you were asleep, this is a morning practice for you. Then this is the perfect thing to be doing. And start to break form a little bit. You wag your hips from side to side, breathing into your side body. Our lungs are these beautiful little balloons that allow us to experience the external container, in this case, our skin, allows it to lengthen and stretch. And then we can really work with those balloons to deepen sensation, opening in the fascia, tissues. So from here, we're going to shift forward Come all the way down to the floor, side back. Place your fingertips under your shoulders. Inhale to peel the chest up off the floor, coming into a baby cobra. Start to feel the activation of the paraspinal muscles. We're going to take our fingertips and invite the buttock flesh to drag down towards the backs of our heels. Press the tops of the feet down. And then at the same time, you might feel the pubic bone dragging up towards your floating ribs. That's good. Radiate your flashlight out the top of your head. Exhale to slowly come down. Bring the big toes to touch. We'll separate the heels apart and then move the tops of the thighs inward. Inhale, let's peel the chest up again. Interclasp your fingers behind you or grab for opposite forearms here. Draw the shoulder blades down the back and sink them in. Exhale, you can reach your knuckles downward as you lift your legs up. Good. As I lengthen the balls of my feet away, feel that internal rotation so that you can activate the inner line of the leg. Still radiating through the crown. Be mindful not to compress the neck, but create a lengthening and a softening there. Breathing here for 3, 2, and 1. We'll slowly come down. Put the palms of the hands on the floor and just rest for a moment. Feel the ease of that. And we'll slowly place our hands underneath the shoulder heads. Let's curl the toes under, pressing up through the knees, coming back to our tabletop. We're going to walk the hands forward, coming into a puppy pose. So activating through the palms, separating the fingers apart, stacking the hips over the knees, and then allowing the head or chin to rest on the mat. Stay activated through the arms, elbow creases rotating up towards the ceiling. Start to draw the shoulders away from the ears. Keep a gentle pressing of the knees and the balls of the feet into the floor, lengthening the armpits. And then inhale, we'll slowly shift forward, taking the hands back to tabletop, rocking your hips back, coming forward, rocking your hips back, and coming forward. On an inhale, we're going to do another round of cat-cow, but this time we're going to lift the knees on our cat. Exhale, coming down. So we'll press the tops of the feet down. Inhale, lift. And exhale. And we get the inverse. Inhale. Activating a little bit through the core here. Exhale. Starting to turn that on. Inhale. And exhale. Toes curl under. Press the hips over the heels. Lift the knees. Send your legs back. Coming into a downward facing dog. Just pedaling the feet. Relaxing your head. Yeah. Really grounding through the hands. Find your lumbar curve. If you want to bend your knees, you can really reach your sitting bones up towards the ceiling. See if you can find your plumb line in this orientation. So the arm is sort of tracking your plumb line. So centering your ears with your arms, and then track your awareness into the shoulders, center of the shoulder, and then up through the center of the hip. Keep that all in the same plane. So now we're going to turn our gaze underneath the left armpit. Again, maybe you want to bend the right knee, just gently pressing into the left hip. Draw your left chin to your left shoulder and nod yes and no. And coming into the other side, really shifting the pelvis, the weight into the right hip, gaze under your right armpit, draw your chin into your right shoulder. At the same time, try to really ground into your left inner palm and just nodding yes, nodding no. Just finding any points of tension here. And then slowly making our way back to down dog. Inhale, Shifting forward into plank. Exhale, coming all the way down to the mat. Uncurl the toes. Inhale, finding our cobra. Maybe we come up a little higher this time. Exhale, lower down. Curling the toes back, shifting into downward facing dog. Bring our big toes to touch. Inhale, breathing that right leg up in the sky. Exhale, step it through. Coming to a low lunge, uncurl the left toe. Inhale, breathing the arms up. And ask that buttock flesh to draw down towards the back of the heel. And then exhale, we're going to slowly come up. So start to move in a more vertical position over the back leg. And we'll slide that right leg forward. That's it. And then as you start to tuck your tail under, your frontal hip bone is going to start to knit in towards the floating rib on the left side. So keep that really isolated and strong. Then inhale, we're going to press forward a little bit more and come to that. So the left arm is actually going to come up and pivot towards the wall behind you, lengthen through your ring finger. Exhale back to center. You can take your right hand onto your right thigh, come up and over towards the right back corner. Keep pivoting the left palm back. Lengthen and reach through your ring finger. Keeping the tuck. Press the right foot down into the mat. Press the top of the left foot down on the mat. Now squeeze them towards the midline. And retract your gaze up towards the top hand. And then exhale, we're going to slowly plant the hands at the top of the mat. Curl the left toes back. Stepping into downward dog. Inhale, rolling through the spine into plank. And we're going to take the right hand up and the left hand stays back. So we're going to offset our planks. And we're going to press the right heel back as we bend the left knee. And you can put just some very small, gentle movements here, starting to cultivate some heat. Just exploring the edges. Now, at any point, the mind's going to kick in first, and it's going to tell you can't do this. And I want you to ask yourself if it's true. Can you stay here because the body can do it, and the mind is just telling you you can't, or do you have to get out? So listen to what's true for you. Exhale, straighten both legs, switching sides. So taking the left arm forward, right arm stacking over the right shoulder. And now we're going to extend through the left heel as we put a little bend in that right leg. Inviting the heat to come. Inviting that fatigue to kick in. Getting stronger here. Oh, here she comes. She's telling me I want to get out. She's telling me you can't do it. And we're going to stay anyway. Discern if it's a safety thing or if it's just the mind telling us we can't do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Center it up. Lower the knees. Send your hips over your heels, arms by your side. Relax. Rest. Just start to feel the heart rate slowly recalibrate, coming down after a bit of that heady moment there. Reposition the hands, curl the toes under, find our way back to down dog. Bring the big toes to touch. Heels slightly apart. Notice if the center crease between the toe and the second toe, big toe and second toe, track through the inner edge of your heel. It'll separate the toes apart. Bending your knees, find your plumb line. Lumbar curve intact. And then exhale, just start to slowly invite the femurs back. Gentle inner spiraling of the thighs. They don't have to be completely straight. Inhale, breathe that left leg up. Reaching through the toes. Exhale, step it forward. The right knee comes down. Inhale to breathe the arms up. Again, scooping the buttocks down towards that back heel. Our maneuvering, our little pond, catching and holding our raindrop. Drawing the floating ribs in. And then exhale, pushing up. Slide that front foot back. Really stack ear, shoulder, hip, and knee. On the right side this time. And now we're going to find that tuck. So invite the buttock flush to scoop. Pubic bone dragging up towards the jaw. Inhale, breathe this right arm up. Length on both sides, and then you can lower the left one down. Pivoting the right palm towards the wall behind you. Extend through the ring finger. Hold the tuck. Inhale, and use your exhalation to explore a bit of a side bend here. Kind of taking it more to a 45-degree angle. So instead of side, it's just a little bit more to the corner. But explore that range. Don't have to stay static in one place. Depending on our temperaments. Sometimes we can color outside the lines here. So keep or toss that reminder if it applies to you. And exhale, full expression. And we'll slowly travel back. Plant the hands at the top of the mat. Stepping into plank. La la. Exhale down. Yes. Uncurl the toes. Inhale. Lifting into cobra. Exhale. Floating back down. Big toes touch, heels apart. Inhale to lift. Interclasp your fingers in reverse. Exhale, draw the shoulders down and into the back. Exhale, lift the legs. Remember our flashlights. Turn on the flashlight. Shining out through the crown of the head. Lengthening through the balls of the feet. Find your inner spiral. 3, 2, and 1. Soften down. Place your hands underneath your shoulder heads. Slowly come up. Finding our way to down dog. Inhale. Pick up that right leg. Exhale to step it forward. We're going to pivot the legs. Making a little pigeon toe here. Coming into a deep forward bend. So finding your distance that feels stable, yet you're getting some lengthening. And you put a little bend in the knee, place your hands under your hips, push through the legs to come up. Good. Inhale. Exhale, interclasp your hands behind you. Inhale to find your plumb line. Grow nice and tall as you press through your feet. Ground through the outer edges of your feet. And on the exhalation, reach your knuckles down towards the floor. Make it an extension of your coccyx, your tailbone. Pointing it down. Now inhale, open the throat. Bring your gaze to your nose. And exhale, we're going to start to hinge at the hips. Put a little bend in the knee. Legs are activated. Throat is open. Throat is open. Natural curves of the spine are still intact. Find your lumbar. Exhale, start to continue to glue the arms to your back. Opening the throat, resting the belly between the thighs. When you find that you can go no further, then relax the head, tuck the chin. Inhale to reach the knuckles up towards the ceiling. Give yourself a nod, no, yes. Release any tension in the neck. We're decompressing the neck right now. Should feel kind of nice. Exhale, maybe up and over.
So as you draw your chin into your chest, start to tip the weight into the balls of the feet, ground through the outer edges of the feet, start to rotate the feet inward. So heels out, big toes pressing in, like you're trying to open a jar with your foot. Inviting the shoulders away from the ears. Exploring and rotating, whether it's micro movements in the pelvis, rotating your gaze from side to side. Inhale, grounding through the feet. Exhale, open the throat, reach the knuckles back to lift you up. Coming halfway. Inhale to get long, strong legs. Exhale, come all the way up to standing. Just feel the flesh through the arms, heel toe the feet together. Tadasana. Inhale, breathe the arms up. Track your gaze past your thumbs. And then exhale, finding Samastiti. Inhale, let's lift the right leg up. Open the arms. Exhale, finding our way to eagle. Option 1 is to cross the eyes. Press the top foot into the floor in line. Toes in line with each other. Option 2 is to keep scooting it around the back of the calf of the standing leg. Right arm underneath left. Just like at the beginning of class, inhale, elbows lift. Exhale, pressing into the palms, sitting a little deeper. Inhale to grow through the crown of the head. Exhale to sit. And now if you do the option where you're pressing the floor with the foot, you can use that traction to broaden your base. Maybe you sit down a little lower. Shifting your weight into your heels. Inhale, elbows lift. Exhale, shoulders drop down and into the back, lifting the heart. Shining the crown. For 3, hug the legs so that those 2 legs become one. Sitting a little bit lower. And then start to feel the flesh as you release. And coming back down to finding your home base, your blueprint for your plumb line. Tadasana. Inhale, floating the arms up. This time left leg lifts. Exhale, twizzling our arms and legs, whatever desired form of the pose. Again, an option to line up the toes. Our legs become one, our arms become one. Staying aware of our plumb line. Are our ears set forward? Can we shift the ears back in line with the shoulders? Lengthen and radiate through the crown. Humble chin. Don't drop your raindrop. Welcoming the heat. Welcoming the opportunity to get stronger. This is how diamonds are made. Breathing here for 3. Sink a little lower, 2. Relax your toes a bit. And 1. Feel the flesh. Finding Tadasana. Good. So inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, hinging forward. Inhale and do Ardha Uttanasana. Find your long spine. Really lift your sitting bones up. Exhale to Uttanasana. Again, inhale into Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant the hands, stepping back. Coming into our plank, all the way down to the floor. Inhale, finding Cobra. Exhale, lift the arms in Cobra. Good. Bend the legs. We'll push the balls of the inside edges of the feet, inside edges of the balls of the feet together, heels apart. And then as you press them, maybe lift them an inch.
maybe a millimeter. Hug the knees in. Now create some buoyancy in your movements. Nothing is static or rigid. We're getting stronger, but also supple. Maybe moving from side to side. Gazing back behind you. And then reset the hands, release the legs. Pushing up onto all fours. Making our way back to down dog. Inhale, heels rise. Exhale, bend your knees, walk to the top of the mat. Inhale into Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant your heels. Let the weight shift into the heels, take the arms up. Moving a chair. Sitting into our chair like thunder. It's powerful. It's decisive. Finding our plumb line. Cultivating heat, gently squeeze the legs together. 3, 2. Now on 1, we're going to try to sit ourselves down. Keep reaching like you're grabbing for a rope. Your life depends on it. Until you sit back. Good. And we're going to coil the belly to come down. If your legs lift, so be it. And just receive that for a moment. Just nodding your head, yes, no. And finding center. Set yourself up, again, to do a little check-in. At the beginning of our practice, we were sitting and we were observing our plumb line. And now we have the opportunity to use the floor as a point of reference, and it's supported. So tracking the center of your ear with the center of your shoulder, let's turn the palms to face up, press the thumb side down, and get a nice broad footprint with your shoulders. Feel how the center of the ear stacks with the center of the shoulder and then the center of the hip. Now, we often talk about sitting tall or sitting up straight, but that implies that the spine is straight. The spine is far from straight. So in this position, we can experience it. You can use this as a meditation if it's useful, but dropping into the sensory experience to feel the curves of your own spine. Everyone has a bit of a different spinal curves and degrees. How aware of your own spine are you? This is the time to check. So starting at the base of the spine, feel and receive the floor for starters. Feel the weight of the sacrum as if it was transformed into iron, and allow it to really anchor and decompress your spine. Now from there, we start to track a line up the spine, and we'll notice, we lose contact with the floor. This is the lumbar curve. Our natural lumbar curve will leave the floor. It curves up until we hit the mid-back. Where does your mid-back start? Feel that intersection point where you touch down, and allow the thoracic spine to receive the floor. The sacrum, thoracic spine are anchoring down, and you track your awareness of the spine until it leaves again. You start to feel the beginnings of the cervical spine. Tracking your awareness of the neck. So we don't flatten out the neck curve, flatten out the lumbar curve to be in our plumb line. Those are naturally present. They come away from the floor until the back of the head. The occipital ridge resting into the floor, resting into the mat. And as we allow the weight of the head to receive, draw your attention to the center of your ear canal. What it feels like when it's in line with the shoulder. Now turn on your light switch, the back of the throat. Flashlights on, shining up through the soft palate, out through the crown of the head. And then as we find that length, you'll feel the back of the skull start to drag up, start to catch your raindrops, so to speak, except the raindrops are falling from
supine position. So we're essentially lifting the manubrium up towards the jaw. Descend chin into the chest as if you're holding a grapefruit or an orange or something between your chest and your chin. So from here, we're going to start to come into working the back line of the body. Again, our lifestyles are so dominated by computer work and desk types of work. This forward dominancy creates a weakening through the back channel of the body. So this is what we're here to come and strengthen. We're coming to get you. So inhale, we're going to press through the feet, start to rise up. Pelvis is lifting. Cervical spine is intact, so don't flatten out the neck. We're shining out through the crown of the head. The shoulders are drawing down into the back. So shoulder blades down towards the waist and into the back to help you lift the heart. The heart is beaming towards the jaw. Good. And then exhale to slowly come down. So for this next one, our palms have been up. We're going to flip it down, but continue to maintain this broad footprint of the shoulders to the floor. So we're just rotating at the wrist. Keep that external rotation of the shoulder. Inhale to lift the pelvis up. Everything else intact. This time we're going to scoop onto the triceps, interclasp the fingers or grab for your forearms. And then as we point those toes forward, kind of pigeon toe the feet, redirect the buttock flesh towards the knees. Maybe come up another millimeter. As we press into the forearms, we invite the shoulder blades to travel in and down, but down means towards the waist in this orientation. Feel the activation of the whole back line. Exhale as you lower, squeeze the glutes, and then receive the floor at the base. Note if the lumbar and the thoracic curves are present. Receive the floor with the sacrum, the mid-back, and the skull. One more time. Inhale, pressing into the feet, lift up. Switch the clasp of the hands. Start to play in whatever full expression. Maybe you start to bend the hips, breathing into your side body. This is your last back bend to play. Try to lift the heels. Drag your frontal hip bones towards your ribs. Track your knees in line with that crease between your big toe and your second toe. Exhale, keep the height, lower your heels down. Exhale, squeezing the glutes as you lower, and then completely soften. The soles of the feet together. Make a fist. Place them right by the sides of your buttocks, and then just let your knees, or sorry, your outer legs, receive some support there. And this might just help give you that space and trust to relax your inner groins in this position. Just releasing a lot of the effort here. Maybe nod your head. A little bit of no, a little bit of yes. Slowly draw the legs up. Sink it into the chest. Just drawing the chin into the chest, squeezing the legs into the midline, rounding the spine. Exhale, coming back down. Extend through the legs, coming into happy baby. So option 1 is to grab for the outer feet. Option 2, you can grab for the inner feet. Just be mindful to keep the shoulders broad. So my recommendation, if you have the range of motion, is outer feet. Start to then let gravity take over first.
And then we'll impose a little bit of light traction. So lifting the lumbar curve up, find the natural curves of the spine. Let's find our plumb line, using the floor to support. Give us that reference. Invite the knees down towards the floor. Exhale, start to push the hand or the feet into the hands. The hands are pressing the feet back down to the floor, and we're creating some strengthening in the hips here. This is not passive. We're here for 5, 4, see if you can soften the belly, 3, 2, not too forceful overachievers, but just that right amount, and 1, slowly soften something. Exhale, we'll start to extend through the right leg, start to explore what is sometimes referred to as super happy baby. I guess the super happy babies like to straighten their legs. So we're coming into a supine Upavishtakonasana. You can do it both legs, hooking the big toe, or you can just stay with this happy baby approach and then slowly take one leg at a time and just explore your edges where you feel tight today. And just enjoy and bask in that edge. Linger there. Keep inviting the heel to lengthen away as you ground into your hip joint. If you want to work in symmetry, both legs come out in whatever version you're working in. Find our natural plumb line again. Lift the lumbar curve up, getting nice and long through the crown of the head. Start to descend the hip creases. Just try to relax them. Don't let them grip. If you're finding that they're really grippy, just back off on the legs a little bit until you can find this place where you can soften. That's where you're doing. Now, wherever we are, let's start to activate through the legs. Just hugging the tissues. So I'm activating and hugging my hamstrings in. Lifting the quads off the knees. Play with those two. Full expression. Think of moving the base of the femur. Think of lengthening the back of the knee, reaching out through the heel, wherever you are. Full expression. And then completely go passive. Again, drawing the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little hug. Float the legs down. Let's take the left leg over the right. Coming into just a very soft supine twist. And bringing your gaze toward the direction of the cactus arm side. Exhale to pull the navel towards the mat, uncross the legs, coming into the other side. Inhale to find length. Exhale, let the weight of the legs take you into a nice gentle twist. See if you can completely receive the help of the floor. Always start to observe little points of holding patterns. As we explore the pose more deeply, we start to let go. And exhale to slowly come back. Uncrossing the legs. Let's just extend them out, taking the hips wider than the heels wider than the hips. And now we're gonna just offset the hips. So let's drag the right side of the pelvis down and the left up. Take the right arm up and overhead, flip the palm downward, and just sort of press into your right heel as you lengthen that right arm up. come up and over, a little side bend. You can take your left hand and press into the belly of your left thigh for a little bit of leverage. Just breathing into your right side body. Exhale, coming back to center. Just notice one side relative to the other. Coming into the other side. Start to shift the left pelvis low, right pelvis high. Palm, turning it up, reach it up and over. Fingertips find the floor. A little bend, externally rotating the right leg. Really long through your left side. Press into your left heel. And take that right hand into the belly of the right thigh. Maybe the left buttock lifts. Come into a little side bend. Just getting nice and long through the left side body. Armpit all the way across the psoas. And exhale, coming back to neutral, finding your final Shavasana position. We're on our beach towels. Palms facing up. Let's take a few moments for silence. Start to gently wiggle. Inhale to slowly start to stretch something. The arms up and overhead. Press into your heels. And as we use our exhalation, it'll help us to roll onto one of our sides. If your eyes have been closed, you can start to adjust to the light. And then pressing into the top hand. As we come up, let's just explore our nods. Notice if we feel a little more freed up. Seat, and let's do a little diagnostic. Finding our plumb line, holding ourselves up with our core. Spinal muscles, do they feel more awake, more activated, hydrated? Just checking in. Soft spine. Place your hands at heart center. Thank you for reclaiming vertical space with me. We are going to work our way down Sushumna Nadi through the next 4 Saturdays. This is Saturday number 1. Namaste. Let's try to stand, rise without our hands. How is that going to look today? I'm going to push up from here. And I'm going to roll my toes back. Stand up. Ooh, that was fun. Thanks, everybody.